Ben Bernanke, as chair of the Federal Reserve, is one of the most important people in the fight against the recession to try to bring about a strong recovery. The problem is that the Federal Reserve has done just about everything that they can do, short of some steps that have never been taken before in the past. Their usual focus is on interest rates and pushing them down in a recession, and they've pushed down their target interest rate close to zero, and you can't go below that. The Federal Reserve is not got a lot of weapons left in their arsenal. Bernanke says they have some, but it's wonder why they don't use them at this point if that's the case. The other thing about Bernanke's statement of August 2nd in the Wall Street Journal relates to the nature of recovery. What do we mean by recovery? Recovery is often usually thought of as increase in GDP, the gross domestic product. We're producing more output. And indeed, we are doing that as a nation. Output has been growing positively. The problem is it's not growing fast enough for firms to want to hire people and thereby bring down the unemployment rate. So I think focusing more on jobs rather than traditional growth of GDP is extremely important at this point. What would that look like in terms of policy focus and what is the current state of unemployment is the question. Well, let's start with the second part, the current state of unemployment. The unemployment rate actually has come down the last few months. It's now at 9.5%, which is extremely high still. But it's been coming down not because firms are hiring lots of additional people. It's coming down because many people are leaving the labor force. They are become what economists call discouraged workers, and they would like to work, but they've simply looked for so long that they've given up. And one of the ways in which one of the requirements to be classified as unemployed officially is that you must be seeking work, actively seeking work. So these people end up dropping out of the labor force, and therefore they're not counted as unemployed anymore. And the unemployment rate comes down, and that looks great, but it's not great. So that's the first part. The second was how could we focus more on unemployment as opposed to simply a growth in GDP? The first thing I would say is that the two do go together. Firms aren't going to hire more workers if they don't think they can sell additional output. So growth of the economy in terms of output is sort of a prerequisite to growth of the growth in employment. However, some of our policies, it seems, have been more focused on getting GDP to grow and less focused on the number of jobs that would actually be created. And let me give you an example. And this is not to take a strong position either way on the stimulus package, but I think where it could be faulted to some extent is that many of the spending programs, whether it be highway construction or repairing bridges or whatever, are very capital intensive. They require lots of expensive equipment, machinery, but they don't require that many people to actually, only one person is going to be operating the crane at the bridge building site. And so they're not focused primarily on jobs, but more on getting more spending into the economy. More spending may indeed be needed, but it should be focused on areas where lots of people are going to be employed given whatever amount of expenditure you're going to set forth. So I think that's the sort of focus I would be looking for.